job there. In fact, good coordination between the two. Not much of a heavily advanced strategy from the British so far, mostly relying on sheer numbers and mortar pits, and generally what some might count as not so nice tactics and strategies, but there you go. Half-track really might want to get out of there. Approach from all sides, taking heavy damage from the smaller fire. And the Bren guns. Gunner is killed. Both gunners, in fact, are killed, and looks like this truck is going to be knocked out. And there we go, folks. Pioneers out. Did not jump out. In fact, no Pioneers inside, trying to land the guns. And oh no, these folks Pioneers are going to get slaughtered. Absolutely horrific.
Churchills are under our command.
Good men, but apparently not led by a commander who cared awfully a lot by them. And there we go. In the firelight of the half-track, everyone is blown to pieces.
Get us to the fight.
Bunker still taking Vickers machine gun fire. Pack sneaking in, and this mortar is certainly enjoying things very nicely. 15 kills so far. Very nice job. Continuing to hammer away at this mortar pit, but might certainly be exposed to counter mortar fire itself. Medics moving in to pick up any Volksgrenadiers they can get, but so far perhaps not much luck with that. And Pioneers moving in here.
The lines. They're trying to take a second.
Still not a great amount of troops for the Wehrmacht forces, mostly support units, and whatever Yaren can gather, he loses. And we see Churchills have hit the field from both commanders, meaning they both gone for Royal Engineers, or Scots Engineers, I can't entirely remember at the moment.
Hold on. Ready for
Perhaps not the best choice to both go for the same doctrine, and certainly not this one, which is currently perhaps not the strongest one, particularly because the Churchill's guns need a bit of a buff. I might have recommended perhaps commandos, that way you could have gone around a bit here in the south, done a bit of nasty, and we have terror doctrine up and a firestorm slaughtering large amounts of Mr. Karl's forces. In fact, everyone but one recon section member is dead. The rest are support units, a lieutenant, or the sappers. This was absolutely horrific for the British, but for the Wehrmacht forces, quite the coup. It was certainly excellent for them.
AVRE has reached its designated
and I'm certain they're quite cheerful about. Let's in fact go have a look at Mr. Sunny and see what he's up to, setting up a new casualty clearance center. Forces a bit further away from the entrance to the Wehrmacht areas, having taken quite a lot of damage from Wehrmacht artillery, support artillery, and other nasty business.
The initiative is
German forces sneaking forwards, a bit mortar setting up. A new half-track, probably going to be filled with Volksgrenadiers, will probably again be thrown away. Not really commendable. And of course, again, engineer company, not entirely sure why they both went for that, or at least why didn't they ask, well, hey, what did you do? Certainly not a good indicator of the teamwork here. And we do have that infantry up for the support units, meaning elite armor for the Pioneers are retreating, preparing this observation post, trying to regain any fuel income they can for as long as they can. Pack inching forward as well, probably going to fire away at this Churchill, and there we go, Pioneers forced back, but this will leave the mortar team and the pack dreadfully exposed as this vast wave of British infantry are moving in, tearing apart this mortar team like, well, something very nasty, tearing things apart. Churchill continuing forwards, having outmaneuvered the pack, but another pack is ready, and we see Yaren setting up a Sturm Armory. Churchill Mark 4 getting up, pack now ready to fire away, hitting the rear on Captain Sonny's Churchill tank. A lot of Churchill support, but it shall not avail them much for this moment. And we see a half-track still skulking about. Pioneers with flamethrowers trying to do something, and the pack trying to get a fix on the Churchill, but the Churchill is just too sneaky, constantly surfing around it. Certainly a good trick to dealing with packs. Apparently the pack there we see it stops, leaving it right open target, and there we go. Churchill has blown up the room up, and we have a vast artillery strike right here again, probably killing a lot, and probably Mr. Karl's forces again. Half-track under fire from Karl's Churchill, although the Churchill nicely lit up by the remains of the firestorm barrage. Not entirely sure what this half-track is up to, taking a lot of fire again, he seems rather keen on throwing away his artifacts without much gain. Churchill out of control, and again Volksgrenadiers outside. Once more fighting in the fireline of the wrecked half-track, and once more brutally slaughtered. Goodness gracious, have this man not heard of unit preservation? Or at least caring for his own men. I mean, this isn't the Soviet Union. But there you go. A left behind Bren machine gun not being picked up by either side for the moment. And let's go have a look at the Wehrmacht forces. Jaren first. Inspired assault and firestorm ready. We see the Sturmarmory, and apparently I was wrong. Mr. Jaren is not of the 9th SS, he is of the 21st Panzer Division, which has somehow managed to sneak back some Geschützwagens from Normandy somehow. Which means that the other fellow is the 9th SS, but I don't make any huge difference. They're still taking the fight to the British and Tommies to throw them out of Arnhem. Geschützwagen on the way, certainly going to help against these Churchills if they can penetrate, because while the Geschützwagen certainly does a lot of damage and will still do a lot of damage after the patch, although it will be nerfed, the penetration is not too high. A bit of skirmishing going on here. Pioneers trying to sneak about, firing away at these British recon section members of Captain Sonny's. Although it looks like these troops are not in a good position, and we see a V1 rocket being prepared. All nice and dandy. Pack setting up in a small tiny pack front, which was a German tactic of basically setting up a lot of packs and then giving one officer to designate targets for them, creating a rather devastating anti-tank barrier. And we see another firestorm, meaning both Wehrmacht players have gone for terror. That's quite interesting. So double terror against double engineers. Certainly going to be more effective for the Wehrmacht, since terror is a lot more diverse and effective. And we see a slit trench going down and a 17-pounder going up alongside this Bofors 40mm anti-aircraft cannon. And we see a Churchill out here as well. No armor though, not a single Churchill. I mean, Stuart only Churchills, in fact. For the moment, I'm a bit curious.
Grouper, pay attention.
But the Geschützwagen is up, ready to take the fight to the British. And of course, with the MG42 gun mount, one of the most effective in the entire Wehrmacht, alongside the Stuk and Stu 42. So that's certainly going to be an advantage, although by the next patch it will require veterancy before it is added. So there you go, and do try to remember. Pack sneaking in, not entirely sure this is a good idea, particularly since there's no support. A lot of manpower being floated though by Mr. Jaren. That's quite ludicrous, in fact. No infantry, no further Pumas or Geschützwagens or anything, just lots of manpower and fuel and ammunition, not even any attempts at some veterancy. That's really curious. Geschützwagen opening fire at the Churchill. Pioneers also trying to do a bit, well, not much luck in that. And the pack has been discovered and the crew cleared out in a rather unfortunate situation. The Geschützwagen trying to hunt down the Churchill, but the Churchill might have the upper hand, being faster than the Geschützwagen can turn, and there we go. Already doing a lot of damage. The Geschützwagen almost down to half health, and they're now only down to 1/3 health. Perhaps even less, one more shot most likely, and the Geschützwagen will be wrecked. There we go, the crew blown out in a spectacular manner, leaving only the wreck of the Geschützwagen. And a second one quickly being made to replace the first one lost. And something coming out of the creek barracks, but still no infantry really, no real Volksgrenadiers or grenadiers, and again just floating loads and loads of manpower. Pack setting up, trying to fly away at the Churchill, but in recon section, moving in, getting suppressed by the MG42, but not fast enough as the pack is cleared out, giving the Churchill a bit more time to reign freely and do some nasty business with its 6-pounder gun. Pack moving in, trying to deal with this Churchill, but Churchill seems to be trying to outflank it. Although it looks like we're making a lot of stops. Not sure. And we have Seal being prepared apparently for the forces of the 21st Panzer Division. Pack getting a good lock on the Churchill, firing away. Perhaps next shot might knock it out, or no, the Churchill does barely get away. Another Churchill moving in, Pioneers having recaptured this gun. And now the Churchill is fired upon both sides as a third pack is joining the field. And we have a Churchill AVRE with its rather tart rounds, or sabot rounds, I can't remember the name of it, but it's certainly explosive. Although it is an ability that can't be found very often, so the AVRE is in quite a bit of trouble now, quite exposed. If the packs and Geschützwagons begin focusing up, apparently the Geschützwagen crew is taking a bit of a break. Still floating, I don't know how much manpower, I'm not entirely sure why he's doing this, not really doing anything with it. That's certainly something that could easily end up biting him in the ass in any other game of certainly higher ranking. And let's go a look at Hauptmann DjeyDjey. Not floating so much manpower, in fact, although still plenty of fuel, going for MG42 gunner and a Panzer command, certainly interesting. The Geschützwagen moving forwards. No support though, and getting fired upon all sides. 17-pounder gun and a captured pack firing away, knocking out the Geschützwagen, leading for another break. Geschützwagen in seconds. The train's completely demolished as the infantry makes a quick getaway, and these Pioneers are getting focus fire from all sides and will need to get out of there, but they do manage to call in a firestorm right onto Carl's positions, killing a lot of the infantry. Looks like an entire team might be lost. Perhaps not. Certainly a lot of dead, and the pack has been cleared out.
We have a V1 ready for target.
And oh, there we go. In fact, one team was wiped out, and the other two are almost close to being wiped out. And now the pack is moving away, firing at the 17-pounder gun and having the advantage against the 17-pounder. 17-pounder gun emplacement almost correct. Only one more shot from the pack. And the pack misses. The pack might in fact be cleared out, or does it manage a final kill? Will the crew fire? And there we go, 17-pounder cleared out. And now the pack might want to get out of there before the British knock it out completely. Apparently the crews decided to die a heroic death for the fatherland and remain with their gun rather than pull back and face the shame. And here V1 rocket went down. Oh goodness gracious, killing a lot of Sonny's troops and almost knocking out this field support truck. That was quite nicely done. And if you do hear a V1 rocket coming for you, you'll most likely want to retreat something right near the front. That usually tends to be a good idea. Sappers immediately beginning repairs on the support truck. Things are not looking so good for the British, having suffered heavy losses, although it looks like Mr. Sonny is the one better off. Another Churchill running in. And a armored command truck up for Mr. Carl, Major Carl. Although not doing much with it, no Cromwells or